We are out here in a shady pocket out here on busy Smith Mountain Lake, and I have got a bag full of tackle that I have never fished with. So that can mean only one thing. It is time for Tackle Test episode 10. I have got 3 baits in here I've been wanting to throw for quite a while, and got them in a handy little missile bag right here. Just taking these bad boys out. Now we're going to start with the crankbait. I like throwing crankbaits. I've designed a bunch of crankbaits. I'm still a crankbait aficionado. I like to see what all the new stuff is. Well, at the Bassmaster Classic this year in 2020, we had Mr. Stetson Blaylock put on a clinic. I think he finished 3rd in the Classic, and he was throwing the prototype version because I quizzed him unbelievably about it. This is a Norman Speed In. This is a new crankbait that Norman's come out with, and with the name Speed In, I was really thinking this is going to be something that it's going to mirror like a speed trap, maybe. Speed trap, Speed In, Norman Little In. And so we're going to, I think he was throwing one of these red colors, like this is chili bowl color. It's lunchtime, might have made you hungry, but so we're going to try this shad looking color first, tie it on. It's called Holy Shad. Huh, I like that name, Holy Shad. Holy Shad. Just make sure you don't shad your pants. But it's a different type of rattle. You can hear that. It's kind of a deeper rattle. The baits are not translucent. Well, this one's a little translucent. It looks like it's got 2 larger balls right here in the bottom, which are the weight to keep the crankbait keeled, and they're loose, so they roll back and forth. And I'm wondering, how that's going to affect the action. I've got my Cashin square bill rod here, my trusty cranking rod, so I know what that means. Put the little clipping down here in the bottom. But it looks like it has 2 number 4 round bend treble hooks on there. They look like they're kind of low end on that part, but I don't care what treble hooks are on a crankbait as long as it runs good. Now, as you know, I've designed a bunch of crankbaits for Spro, and that has gone very well. I've fished all kinds of handmade crankbaits, and just love throwing crankbaits in general. Cut that off. So I've got this is a 12-pound Sunline that I've got it on. That's kind of typical for a bait like this. You can throw 12 or 14, but as you can see, the bait's got a pretty good amount of weight to it. They say, what do they call this thing? They don't have a weight on there. It says 4 to 6 feet. So I'm just gonna pull it through the water real quick and see what it looks like. My first impression. Okay. Now the bait, this is definitely not a square bill crankbait. This bait, it swims through the water. Now, and the reason it does that is the square bills have a little steeper pitch bill. This is a little flatter bill, almost like a Little John, but obviously the bait is round, more bulbous, has a lot of weight to it. So I'm sure you can cast this thing a country mile, but it is definitely more of a subtle wiggle. It's got this line tie right here that's just above the bill, and yeah, the positioning of all that affects how the bait runs. But I mean, first impression is the bait has a kind of a subtle action, and it rolls very little. It swims a lot. It doesn't roll a lot like a square bill does. So I think this is going to be a little more of a subtle bait. There'll be great times to throw it, like right here. Dude, you can't make this up. I'd say it works. you're welcome, Stetson, and my friends at Pragco. But how about that? Throwing it right here beside the boat and catch a pound and a halfer on the speed in. I'd say it works. I'd say it works. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so that worked out good. Give it a little quick test, and one absolutely smoked it. This is late, right now it's late summer, early fall, and we caught us one out here on Smith Mountain with the speed in. Good start, but there is more tackle to test. We're going to move the speed ends over, and the next one we're going to pull out is Jackhammer Stealth Blade by Brett Height and Marizo Shimizu. This is, I've got one of the 3/8 and one of the 1/2 ounce, and just to show you the difference in these don't rattle, so I can't do anything there, but I want to show you an up close of the front of that blade. And as you can see, the front of that has the metal wire loop inside of the Lexan. So no matter, even if this, because I was worried that the plastic bill would break, especially when you hooked up with like a 5 or 6 pounder. I was really worried that bill was going to break and you lose your fish, but that can't happen because there's all metal components holding this whole thing together. And then the other thing that they did was they took and put a one size smaller Gamakatsu hook, but what they did is they put the nano coating on there, and that is it's a slick, almost like a Teflon material that goes on the hook. They got the same keeper that the regular jackhammer has, and don't quote me, and I'm not positive, but I feel like that the skirt is a little less material. It's not a full strand, like, so the skirt, when I say it's not full, it means the number of strands in this skirt is less than a regular jackhammer, because this is a more subtle bait. So I'm going to take it off this Cash and Icon rod that I went and caught a couple fish on a little jig that I was testing. But I'm not showing you that today. I'm going to tie this on. It's 14-pound Sunline fluorocarbon. I'm guessing I would probably throw this chatterbait more on like 14 or 16, 17, something like that, versus 20. It's a little more of a finesse bait. I probably will throw it on a little bit lighter line. I feel like you'll get a little better action out of it, but I'm gonna throw it like a wild man. I'm gonna throw this 3/8 just real quick without anything on it, and then I'll put a trailer on it. Yeah, wow, it's definitely a lot more subtle. Man, it is 100%. It's way more subtle than, a regular jackhammer, but I can still feel that blade, vibrating every single thump. Got a good rod and got fluorocarbon line, you're probably going to feel all of that. So I'm going to just take this. Is a Missile Baits Shockwave 3.5. This is my favorite bait to put on a chatterbait. My favorite trailer. Love it. Doesn't slow down the vibration or action or anything of the chatterbait, and it's not too bulky. Doesn't impede the hook sets, any of that kind of stuff. I want to put that on there. And yeah, buddy. Yeah, that 3/8, it doesn't get very deep. But again, I can feel the vibration the whole way. I can feel that vibration the whole way. But that 3/8, I imagine you'll be able to keep that 3/8 one up pretty high in the water column. That's the I think called Clearwater Shad. Yeah, Clearwater Shad color. It matches the Fishalicious Shockwave 3.5 just perfectly. That is really good looking. Really good looking. That's the 3/8. And I'm not going to stop there. I want to try the 1/2 ounce. I want to see what that looks like. So we're going to put that guy there. We're going to snag this 1/2 ounce, and we're going to tie that guy on and see what it looks like, because there's a big difference I mean, that's a substantially bigger head, half ounce, the half-ounce head. I take the little protector off. The blade is the same size on the 3/8 and the half-ounce is what it looks like. But get this thing tied on real quick, and again, I can see some real advantages of using the stealth blade versus using the regular chatterbait. If you're fishing for in real clear water or areas that have been beat up pretty hard, that have had a lot of people come through and fish, maybe a lot of people have thrown chatterbaits, it's a different vibration. It's a much lighter vibration. So this is the half-ounce one. The half-ounce definitely will get down more. And I can feel that real light vibration. And I've got the Missile Baits Shockwave again, 3.5. I'm going to put that on the back of this guy. It's a shrapnel color. It looks like a little perch or a brim. Bluegill. Looks like a little bluegill. Put that guy on there, see what it looks like. Okay. That's a nice little combo right there. That tail, the tail kicks. You know, the one interesting thing that I noticed on both of those, and I didn't mention it on the first one, is that I feel like since there's less vibration on the front of the chatterbait, it allows the tail of the swim bait to kick more. On both of these, you'll be able to see this underwater. On both of these, the tail kicks really well as the front kicks, so you'll get that vibration from both sides. With the regular jackhammer, there's so much vibration on the front of that jig that the back of the jig it impedes the tail of that swim bait. So it'll kick a couple times and then it'll kind of wave around, and that really doesn't matter which one you're fishing. That's just the way it works. Okay, so then the last but not least, got in here Berkley Bullet Pop. Now this is a little bullet pop, and there's my buddy Justin Lucas on there. Look at his pretty mug right there on the back of the package. Old Justin, this is for you, my friend. This is for you, Justin. But in all seriousness, I had a friend of mine call me and say, dude, you might want to get you some of the Bullet Pop 80s. That's the bigger one. And I can't get into the package, I'll be honest. I don't know how to get into it. It is sealed very tight. I'm going to have to tear it all to pieces. But this popper, it's a topwater popping bait. It kind of replicates that old the old Pop R, the P70, the big P70, and I am tearing this thing all to pieces trying to get out of the package. My Lord. They're getting a demerit for packaging because I can't get it out. Lord have mercy. But it kind of emulates the old P70, as I'm told. All right, finally. Sorry, Justin, didn't mean to throw it in the floor. But it's a bone. Look at that bone color. It's got. Let's see what kind of. It's got a deep rattle in it. Single deep rattle. I like that. It's got some decent hooks on it. Got a little feather on the back. Looks like it's got two 4s, 2-4. And so now I'm going to grab this my topwater rod. Take off Mr. Vixen, and I'm going to put on the Bullet Pop 80. And it comes with a split ring on it because that cup is pretty deep in there, and I think without that split ring, it'd be hard to get the line down through there. So I'm going to tie this split onto the split ring, do a Palomar knot with this 30-pound Sunline braid. That's probably what I would throw on it. I mean, you could throw mono as well. I wouldn't recommend throwing straight fluoro, because fluoro sinks and it would probably impede the action. But here we go. We're going to see what this dude looks like. It's heavy. It does throw good. Oh boy, it rocks really good. It replicates the old P70 pretty well. That's kind of what they were going after. And with that split ring on it, it walks real easy. Pops nice. There's a little splash kick up when it does that. Now, the topwater baits in general are going to have better action on braid, just because the braid is so much limper. But I probably wouldn't throw it on. You could throw it on 50, but man, you can do some heavy lifting with 30-pound braid. But that's the bullet pop from Berkley. There's a couple other topwater baits that we're going to be reviewing here before too long as well. So before you go buying every single bullet pop, hold the phone, wait and see what else we release in future videos. But there's nothing wrong with that little topwater bait. I can't remember exactly what the pricing is on it, but that's a good little popper bait. It's like I said, it's a bigger one. You can easily throw it on a bait caster. You can pinpoint cast it when those topwater baits like this are heavy. You can pinpoint cast them, and then you can walk it and keep it kind of in one place, and then that's when those fish come out of wherever they're sitting, wherever you cast it next to. They'll come out of there and come out there and just crush it. But I wish they had one size bigger hooks. I would replace the treble hooks with one size bigger. Based on how buoyant the bait seems to be, I don't think it's going to affect the action at all. But 7-foot medium heavy casting rod, that'll place that bad boy right in there. You could throw a 6.5 or a 6.9 rod as well to be able to make those pinpoint casts. But with this type of big popper, it's not a bait that I'm going to be throwing to cover water. I'm not going to throw it out on a big long point and try to cover any expanse of water. It's not going to be efficient for that. But I'm going to take this type of bait and get back in these pockets and hit these little shade pockets and get back behind these dock poles, things like that, where I'm making strategic single cast to one particular spot, and then I want the bait to walk and have some action in a short period. Once I get it through where I think the strike zone is, I'm going to reel it in and throw it to the next area where I feel like the strike zone is. So that's kind of how you're going to be using a big popper like that. But those are the 3 baits on your tackle test episode 10. I hope you enjoyed them, and if you want to see any other baits, you want me to review any other baits out there, go back and look on the other tackle tests and make sure I didn't already do one on those. But if there's a new bait or any bait out there you want me to do a tackle test on, put it down there in the comments. I'll put it in the water. We'll get some underwater footage and we'll do a test on it.